to have a heart attack to change.
Yeah.
And I see that in my practice all the time. People have a heart attack or a stroke, then they're willing to do everything that they need to do to get healthy again. Let's take today as an opportunity to get on the right road and be on the journey for healthy living. Do that before you get your heart attack or your stroke.
Use your 3 inches of personal
You have to introduce
responsibility.
me now.
Oh, okay, great. I'm introducing you, Sal. Let me find your bio. Okay. It is my immense pleasure to introduce our next speaker, with whom I've just been riffing for the last 10 minutes. Dr. Sal Vid. Is that how it's pronounced? That's because io parlo italiano, Sal. He's about to teach in Italian, so I hope you all have your personal translators. Dr. Sal is the System Medical Director of Wellness and Employee Health for Lee Health. In this role, his mission is to inspire, educate, and empower people to improve their health and wellness, just as he's been doing up here already. Dr. Sal, as he likes to be called, is one of Lee Health's champions, responsible for developing a comprehensive health, wellness, and preventative care program for more than 19,000 employees and family members. He's the medical director for the LH Employee Health Clinics and the medical director for the Healthy Life Centers in Cape Coral, Florida, Fort Myers, and Babcock Ranch, Florida. He has practiced internal medicine, served as the medical director in 2010 before taking on his role as system medical director. His emphasis is on the prevention and reversal of cardiometabolic diseases, diabetes, weight management, cancer risk factor reduction, and overall lifestyle medicine. He originally earned his Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine from the New York College of Osteopathic Medicine, and he's board certified in anti-aging and regenerative medicine. He writes a weekly column about health and wellness in the news press and has a monthly column for the Cape Coral Chamber of Commerce Trends publication. Please help me to welcome and give a generous welcome, please, to Dr. Sal.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you for that great speech and all that education. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So I'm subbing in for Marcus. If Marcus gets here, we'll just switch over, but just to give you some additional information, and let's see. Okay, so the leading causes of death are listed on this slide here, and if you can't see it, the big orange bubble at the top on the left-hand side that says heart and circulatory disorders. The next one says cancer, the next one says respiratory disorders. So those are the 3 diagnoses, if you will, that are actually listed on your death certificate. Now, what do people actually die from? They don't actually die necessarily from these diagnoses. Let's see if we can't get this to go ahead. Okay. These are the top 10 causes of death just listed on the previous slide. Whoop. Let's go back. Sorry about this is a little slow. Well, we'll just leave this up here. So people actually die from the standard American lifestyle. They don't eat the right food, they don't exercise enough, they smoke cigarettes, they don't get enough sleep, they don't manage their stress. So the standard American lifestyle is one of the reasons that we have such terrible health in this country. And what country actually spends more money on healthcare than any other country in the world? The United States. And where do we sit on the list of the healthiest countries? We actually sit at about number 26. So we spend about 3 times the amount of money and we don't get the benefit from it, unfortunately. That's because we smoke cigarettes and we're exposed to so many chemicals. And you know, it was great that Jessica talked about chewing and eating healthy food, because especially with organic foods, you want to be sure that you're avoiding as many pesticides as you can, because Parkinson's disease has actually been on the rise for the last 10 years or so. And part of the reason, and actually Dr. Scherzai is probably going to talk, well, she is going to talk more about neurodegenerative diseases and what happens with your brain function. So making sure that we're not exposed to things like chemicals and cigarette smoke and other toxins so that we can keep our body healthy. Sitting is the new smoking. Everybody up. Come on, get up. There you go. Get up. Sit down. Get up. Sit down. One more time, up and down. See, this is really cool. When you have a microphone, you can get people to do anything. So if anybody have a sedentary job or a sedentary life, all right, you have to do that, what you just did, every single hour. Get up and down 10 times, because sitting is the new smoking, and that actually is a fact. They've done research to show that people that sit most of the day have a higher incidence of all of the chronic illnesses. So we have to be sure that we do that one simple thing that makes a big difference. So if we can get the slides to advance. Okay, well, all right. Chemicals in foods. How old do you think this slide is? The burgers are 15 cents. So it's an old slide, but it really shows us what part of the problem has been. Since the 1950s, when fast foods really started to take hold, this is where health in America really turned around for the worse, obviously. Too many fast foods, too many chemicals that we're exposed to, and this is what our kids actually look like now. They become McKids because they eat this garbage food. So when your kids are actually adolescents, think about this, and they're hanging out at a fast food restaurant all the time, who is to blame for that? The parents that took them there in the first place, right? Or the grandparents that took them there in the first place. When your kids don't get a taste of high sugar, high fat, high salt foods, they learn how to eat foods that are healthy. And that's where the teaching starts. Teaching starts at home, in your kitchen, when your kids are first born, teaching them how to avoid becoming a McKid. All right. There we go. Go back one. Go up one. So the next slide is really interesting. It basically shows a fetus in utero, if I can get the picture up. There we go. And it says there that the average baby has greater than 200 environmental chemicals in the umbilical cord blood. Now think about that for a second. The kid has not even yet been born, and he's already exposed to a tremendous number of chemicals that will affect his life forever. So we really have to think about, where does preventive health care actually start? Does it start when you go to your primary care physician at 40 or 45 or 50 and you want a wellness exam done? Or does it start before a couple decides to have a child? Because epigenetics, the scientific field of epigenetics, shows that when you change your lifestyle, you change not only your own health, but the health of your child, and research shows that it actually goes 4 generations downstream. So this is a tremendous thing to do for your kids and your grandchildren. Okay, we have a tremendous affinity, unfortunately, for prescription medications, for the easy button. So when you go to the doctor and you have high blood pressure, what usually happens? What usually happens? You get a prescription, right? You have high cholesterol, what usually happens? You get a prescription. You have dementia, you get a prescription, and I know that Dr. Sherzai is going to talk about this. The medications for dementia do not work. There are several of them on the market, they do not work. So what is the only thing that you can, so if you have high blood pressure or high cholesterol, what is the question that you should be answering? Why do I have high blood pressure? Why do I have high cholesterol? Why am I developing dementia? Because if you don't answer that question, you don't know how to solve the problem. In most cases, it's because of lifestyle. So if lifestyle causes the problem, lifestyle can actually fix the problem. Prescription medications are not the solution in most situations. Now, thank goodness we have medications available, antibiotics and other medications really help to keep people healthy in certain situations. But the first thing that you should do is answer the question, why do you have that problem in the first place, and solve that problem before you think about taking medications. If medications are necessary, then you take them. All right, intentional ignorance. Why do we not look at the science? Now, Dr. Sebastian, myself, Dr. Cologne, there's a number of physicians that I lecture with on a regular basis, Dr. Tashner, and sometimes we have different philosophical approaches to how healthcare should be provided, but the one thing that always grounds all of us, and we're all in different subspecialties, is the science. So if I say, listen, this is what I think we should be doing for our patients, we all will say to one another, show me the science, because you can't argue with science. And I know that Dr. Sherzai's kids, Alex and Sophia, they're going to talk about they're the science kids. So when people tell you what's good for your health, ask them, show me the science. If you can look at real good data, then it's probably good advice to listen to. So how many people believe that family history and genetics are primarily the problem with healthcare? One person. Okay. So what's more important, genetics in relation to your health or your lifestyle? Lifestyle, at least 80% of the time. So the 80-20 rule basically says that if we lead a healthy life, most of the time, the far majority of the time, we're going to be healthy. If we do the opposite, we're going to be sick. The majority of chronic illnesses that we deal with on a regular basis, including heart disease and cancers and diabetes and obesity and osteoarthritis, and the list goes on, are related to lifestyle. So if we can change our lifestyle, we essentially change our family history, because when you think about family history, what is it that you're actually inheriting? Are you inheriting bad genes that make you sick? Or are you inheriting a bad lifestyle? Anybody say it's bad genes? Anybody say it's lifestyle? All right, so that's really the take-home message. I mean, the majority of the time, in certain circumstances, there